Billy D here with another exciting podcast, pre-Cal Jam podcast with Dr. Danny Bai, who I've become really close friends with. So I just want to send out some love to you, bro, and thank you for being on the Cal Jam stage this year.
Thank you, my friend. Honor is all mine, dude.
Now,
Absolutely.
We've got this little trifecta going, you, I, and Barry, and Brad, kind of like a little kind of a team system together. You basically teach them how to do the day one, day two. Brad's good about getting them in, and then I'm about the guy that puts a lighter fluid on it to make these guys just go out and just change the world. And I've really enjoyed working with you guys, and we're a great team as we work together. And I just want to thank you because you are now the #1 guy as far as referring doctors to Cal Jam this year, which I think you were #1 last year too.
I don't get that. Can I just say that?
You can say it.
I don't understand how you could not refer to this event. I mean, it is the event. You said it best, man. It's the fire that lights it, and
right.
It's the spark. It's the fuel. I just don't get how people.
Well, you know what? I think it's like, I was just talking to Dave Jackson. It's like, we all as leaders, we get like inundated with like stuff that we have to promote, and I'm really good about it because I like to actually promote the fact that I'm going to be at an event because I like people to be at gigs, But I think just a lot of the speakers are on so many different stages that it's really difficult for them to like. But I think I like to think that Cal Jam's a little bit different than any other stage. Wouldn't you say so?
Oh yeah, just a little different. And I found that difference early on in my career when I first came to Cal Jam. I don't know which number it was, but that's when I realized like this event is not just about the spiz or the fire. I mean, it's the main reason that I think I loved going and why I refer so many people to go is because it promotes so much community. And I think that's what this profession is lacking so much is that everybody out there thinks that they're on an island all by themselves and they got to do all this stuff by themselves. And frankly, the things that I'm going to be talking about on the stage is one of those things. It's like, we have to stick together. I mean, it sounds all cliche. It's coming out of a freaking, AMC movie, but it's so true. Like, we cannot do this by ourselves. And if we think that we can, and we try to do this, we're going to be pedaling along that like we've always been for the past 100 years.
No, we're going to get annihilated, dude, because the thing is, the monster is getting bigger by the day. The machine is ramping up. And, sometimes I even wonder if we can beat the machine at its own game. But the machine is about controlling and literally depopulating the planet, whether people want to get on that page or not. But sometimes I think I know more than I should. And sometimes I wish I was more in oblivion and more that I didn't know what was actually going on. So,
well, they say, ignorance is bliss. And that's so true.
Right.
But I will tell you, that machine that you speak of, I got to tell you something. They work together.
Yeah, they do work together very strong, and there's not a lot of them either. There's only a few, but they got a lot of dough, bro. That's the big difference because they own the printing presses, and I didn't want to turn this into like a conspiracy talk. So you're really going to build the fact that chiropractors need to go back to their communities and make it more of just a family. I don't know. Tell me what you're thinking there.
Well, first of all, what I want to bring to the table is the fact that we as a profession has essentially learned how to settle for whatever scraps that anyone wants to send us. And we talk about, I know we're not talking in conspiracy theory, but let's just talk generally about how we are so ineffective at getting our message out to the mass population, okay?
Right.
And yes, it has to do with dough, and I can go off on that, and I will. But if we don't have the resources in terms of just understanding that we are being chiseled, we are essentially settling for anything that comes through our doors. And I talk to docs every single day. A patient comes in and they don't want to do this, and I told them that. And they start crying and whining. I'm like, dude, at what point are you going to say, I can't do what you're asking me to do?
Right.
I mean, they're going to ask you for a foot rub and you're going to rub their feet? I don't even get it. Like, what are you doing? I mean, are you a provider of a high-level clinical and philosophical service, or are you just there to make them happy so that you feel accepted?
Right.
And we're never going to change any paradigm. I don't care if it's the conspiracy theory or just delivering a high-level adjustment. We're never going to be able to do that if we constantly are saying, I'll just take what I can get. And that's what's rampant in our profession. And I love the stage that I'll be speaking on at your stage because I can just let it all hang out. You gave me permission, man. You know, don't worry, I'll follow the
Yeah,
rules.
that's what I expect everybody. Especially with this year being the Freedom Tour, I don't want anybody to. That's the problem with a lot of chiropractors. They're so inhibited. They're so worried about, like you said, what acceptance and what they might say that might turn somebody off. But the reality is that we got a lot of people out there that are dying because of the fact that they don't know our message, because chiropractors many times don't have the cojones to stand up and deliver the message that people are so ready to hear. Yeah, it might be a little bit rough for people in the beginning, but the reality is, what are you going to let them continue to die in that burning building that's burning down? And it's really, my big focus this year is on the kids, because what we got going on in California with SB277, which is coming to your state next, pal, and every other palness out there. And then once they got the kids on board, then they're coming after us, dude. And the reality is, like you said, until we stand up collectively and say that, hey, we're done with your bullshit, then they're going to keep marching over us, because that's what the machine does. And they're going to try to friggin' dumb you down, and they're going to try to brainwash you with TV, and they're going to try to drug you to death. They're going to try to feed you a bunch of crap that lowers your vibration, and then it's going to be easy prey for you and your children and your families, and then your kids are going to grow up on a friggin' fucked up planet. That reality is like, I'm 57, dude. I say it all the time, and I'm just concerned about, your kids and their kids. What kind of planet are they? I can't even imagine what this place is going to be like in 20 years if we allow it to continue to digress to the situation we're at right now.
No doubt. And you're talking the macro. So I'm going to switch gears here, and let's talk about the micro.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what happens in an office that perpetuates this process. You know what I mean? And really, I think what you say resonates with almost everyone that's listening on the line right now, wherever you're looking at this. But they all believe that, I believe. I think our profession is just filled with so many good hearts that are smart.
Dude. It's not even our profession, the planet. I mean, you look at the human race, there are so many loving people. That's why we've got to get them to understand that this which actually is going on.
Yeah. And what I want to talk about, and I can't wait, is why does that happen? Why does a person that's purposeful and purpose-driven, that loves his family, that loves the community, why is it that they can't exercise that on the grassroots, micro level on an interaction, let's say in your office? You know what I mean? When they have this backed up, why do they settle? Why do they say, oh, you know what, I just don't want to ruffle any feathers? Like, why do they do that? But what I think the problem is that they don't understand that when you make a stance, whether it be your recommendations or how much you charge or whatever, what the byproduct of that is they respect you and they follow you. Now you have set up a situation where they're going to listen to things like vaccinations. What do you mean you don't vaccinate? Like, if you did not set up you as a credible source that's respected, not just liked, but respected, this stuff happens so much easier. I mean, you're a perfect example, Billy. I mean, you call bullshit and you say, okay, I like it. But if they never see you take a stance, they're not going to follow you.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And if you were a wishy-washy, like, I'll just go where the wind blows. Oh, okay, I gotta fill my practice with 1 million people. I don't want to charge them, and I want to work forever. I want to leave my family at home so they could miss me. I mean, if we did those things, people would not follow us, and that's the name of the game right now. Is, fortunately, we don't have to switch their paradigm. They believe this. It's just we got to figure out how to make it so they could take a stance finally.
And that's what your program's awesome about. It's about taking people and leading them through on day 1 and day 2 and getting them to understand that whatever the problem they came in with is not just the back pain, it's how it's affecting their life and destroying their lives over time. And you try to, again, with that, create the value, which chiropractors should value what they do. And that's what I don't understand is, like, I was talking with David on the phone just before this, Jackson. I don't understand why you being a chiropractor, I don't understand how you cannot be successful at this, because everybody in the world is looking for what you've got. They're looking for a better life. I mean, unless somebody's got the perfect life, but there's people out there that are struggling with, whether it's back pain or headaches or ADHD or their kids are autistic. Everybody out in this world needs some type of direction when it comes to this. I mean, I need people that help me with, guitar stuff. I've got a speaking coach. So there's people out there that need to have some direction as far as health, because people have been so mesmerized and brainwashed into thinking that their health comes from outside in. And our job as chiropractors is to get them to understand that the health is an inside job. And once people see that, it's just like, it's not rocket science, dude. And I can't understand why chiropractors aren't successful.
Yeah. When we think about the reasons why, it really just comes down to, in my opinion, just really one thing. It's at this particular point, at the crossroads of our profession in this particular day and age, is I really think just people have a lack of skill in communicating that. Period. It's like they know what they do is valuable, but they just don't know what to say. With that,
right.
Term, how to say it.
Right.
And I think what happens is we get so inundated with our own stuff, how great chiropractic is, the paradigm, the philosophy, that we start to, the more we do that, the more we start to lose touch on what's really important to the marketplace, to the people behind you. You brought out like back pain. Like, I remember at one point I shunned back pain. I was like, no, chiropractic is not about back pain. It's about increasing the optimal performance of the human body, increasing the nervous output by 100%. I mean, it was all about that. But it wasn't until I made their concerns real to me, and then in my own world made the philosophy fit that for me, and not regurgitate that to the patient right up front. I mean, these are strategies, these are specific steps that in almost every industry they understand, except for our industry. So I really think that, and I'm passionate that is what's going to make the change. Period. Because until they do not buy the messenger, they will never buy the message. I mean,
Right. Right.
Unfortunately, we're still the outsider because we don't speak a language that everyone understands, the mass population.
Right.
I don't care what anyone says. This is a popularity game. So we need to become popular. They need to be they need to say, I want that. I like that. And then they'll start to listen, you know? It's a sad state of affairs right now. We know what we want. Fortunately, for some reason, the disconnect is that we don't know what we got to do to get it there.
But do you actually think, because you said this, and do you actually think that there's a lot of chiropractors that actually believe in what they do?
I think they believe in what they do. I think that they could be more...
I mean, I'm looking at like your non-principal chiropractors that look at chiropractic only as like a symptomatic relief to back pain and neck pain. I mean, rather than looking at it as far as removing interference to nerve expression to maximize human health potential. I mean, what percentage of chiropractors actually believe that, especially with the state of the schools right now?
Yeah, for sure. And again, the result of a lot of those is they're just doing what they're told to believe. Did any one of those people who say that, did they really go into a research mode and really research and try to disprove that having subluxations, it decreases your life quality of life? I mean, did it ever go through all the research that supports that, or did they just say, oh, well, the ACA says this, so I gotta believe it? I mean, what do you call them, sheeple? I mean, that's so.
I haven't been doing that lately.
But it's true. It's you follow, the people that are the authority, and then you assume that to be your belief. Instead of doing the due diligence to make up your own mind, and because that's what's going to really give you the conviction. Not what someone else says that you should believe.
Right.
Unfortunately, that school, they are starting to get some. What do you say? They're starting to get their own printing presses too.
Right.
So we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah. Now, last question before we wrap this up is, how did you ever come to this practice? You're teaching people. What brought you out as Everest is what it is. What was it that motivated you to do this? And I mean, obviously, I've seen you guys just massively just crush it as far as training. I mean, because I've been to your trainings; they're always packed. But what gave you the motivation to do it?
It's really simple. Early on in practice, my first year out, I had I had about 60 or 70 new patients scheduled in my office in a range of about 2 months. And after I was all said and done, out of the 60 or whatever people, I forget the numbers, it was a single digit percentage of them said, okay, I want you to be my chiropractor. That was crushing to me, because how could these people not want chiropractic? And I knew I was principal. I knew what I loved what I was doing. But
So you came out of school being principled.
for sure.
See, I
Yeah,
didn't.
exactly. But so if it was so true, how is it that 92% of the people that came through my office said no to me?
Right.
There was a breakdown there. So from that moment on, I realized it wasn't that I wasn't, because I didn't even put my hands on them yet. It wasn't like I wasn't a good adjuster yet.
Right.
Yet to be to realize they left based on something that I said or I didn't say. So I had to figure that out. So that's what spawned the process of me trying to figure out there has to be a way that I can take the principles of chiropractic and morph it and make it fit the round hole that I have a square peg to. There has
Right.
to be a way, and that's what started this process. And obviously, what I love about it is this process that we're talking about, that we teach, really crosses all boundaries. I don't even talking about geographic boundaries. It crosses all boundaries, culturally, gender, because it's all about humans. And
Right.
we've lost touch of the fact that we're dealing with people here, and it's so critical that we get that message to them. And that's why we need to be focusing on how and what we say, and realize that in itself is an art form. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course it is.
And we just think that it's just something that
You just wing it.
you just wing it.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Golly, I mean,
You can't.
it just upsets me that people think they can go into the office, do ABC for this guy, ZXY for another guy, 1-2 QRS for another dude,
Right.
and they're like, why are my results not as predictable as I want them to be? It's like,
Okay, last question. How is it that you and Barry came about working together?
we came working together just by happenstance. But Barry has been teaching this stuff, informally, and so have I, just talking to colleagues and stuff, and we realized, this is something that this profession needs. And it wasn't until one of the people that we were, I was talking to, and this guy was, from the surface, wasn't going to be successful, but the things that we were teaching him, he was absolutely killing it. So at that point, we're like, this must actually, I mean, we were surprised, like, how do you not know how to do this?
Right.
It's like,
Right.
well, no, you don't say that. What did you say? You seriously said that to a patient? It's like what? And it wasn't until at that point we realized our profession doesn't know how to do this.
Right.
And it wasn't like we knew we were doing something great. We're just doing what we do. We're in practice.
Yeah, but you guys have also done a lot of different studying. You've gone deeper than just all your life effects stuff, and the things that you teach is obviously you've got into, and I don't want to use sales as a negative word, but we do sell what we do. I mean, if you're not selling chiropractic, then they're going on drugs. But you definitely understand the whole sales process, and you understand the whole mindset that people have and what's necessary to get people to say yes to care and actually pay for it. And I don't know where you got a lot of that. I don't know if it was you or Barry, but you guys are, I wanted to say that you guys are an awesome team, because it's like yin and yang. You guys both kind of have different energies, which makes it easier for someone to, if you listen to Barry for 2 days, you'd probably friggin' be ready to rip your head out. So you're a good balance with Barry, but Barry's also super, super, uber smart. And I mean, I don't know which of you did most of the philosophical digging on what creates a better sales process.
Yeah, I'm going to put that completely on Barry, because
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, he was a student of sales from the beginning, and I'm glad you brought that up as a negative connotation. And that's one of the unbrainwashing things we got to do here.
It's such bullshit, dude. It's like,
such bullshit.
I don't want to be a salesman. Well, dude, you are a salesman, whether you want to believe it or not. If you're not a salesman, then you're not friggin' in practice, dude. Exactly. If they're not buying from you, they're buying from somebody else, man. And
Absolutely.
if you can't discuss your product and sell your product, then they're going to go somewhere else and buy it from somebody else. So you better be a salesman. You better be friggin' damn good at it, or else they're going to go to somebody that's better.
Absolutely, and you don't have a product if you can't sell it.
Right.
So you can do all the work that you do to get a service or a product to marketplace, but if they're not saying yes to it, you don't have one. It's just,
right.
it blows my mind. Why did you do it? Just for your own edification? Who went to chiropractic school here, or who went to any school because you just wanted to enlighten yourself?
Right.
You know, I mean, you did it because you wanted to provide a service at an equal, fair exchange with a consumer, a marketplace. You wanted to bring something to market. I mean, let's just stop BSing ourselves here.
Right.
Well,
It's like, people want to think like, well, I'm above being like a salesman, dude. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm a doctor. Like, people should just come to me and then roll out their friggin' wallet and just pay me. Well, that ain't happening, pal. Mm-hmm. And once you get that through your thick skull, I mean, I know you think you're this scholarly, like, you know, uber smart, high IQ doctor that people should respect. But the thing is, you got to get people to understand what you do, and you do that through the sales process.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And last question. I know I said that 2 questions ago. But what schools are actually teaching these kids anymore how to, you know, go through a day 1, day 2? I mean, have you looked into that?
Yeah. I mean, none of them. They teach you how to do a history. It's all,
of course. Yeah,
I mean, they teach you how to do the clinical stuff, which you need.
Right.
But no one's really taught them on why you should. I mean, if I could put a course in every school on what not to say.
Right.
I mean, I think we can pull that off. Like, there's certain things you should not say. You know.
Give me one. Give me one, for instance.
First of all, for instance, don't talk about any type of philosophical, chiropractic-centric one-liner. What I mean by that is, I hear all the time on tapes, you know, you meet a patient for the first time, and within 2 minutes, I time it, they're talking about Stevenson's principles, or the power that made the body heals the body. I mean, that stuff was not written by B.J. Palmer for anyone here, any chiropractor, to spoon-feed those one-liners to your patients on an exam. Right. He did not write it for that purpose.
Right.
He wrote it because it instilled a higher level of enlightenment, or to bring more wisdom within the practitioner only.
Right.
It was never designed to be regurgitated as rhetoric, and that pisses me off. I want to jump out my window.
Don't do it.
Okay, I won't. You need me, right?
Yeah. We need you. We all need you.
Yeah, don't do that. It's just like, oh my God. And I almost get like
you get nauseous.
I get nauseous.
I can see you getting nauseous right now.
Right. So, and the thing is, and when I say that out of context, and I've seen it being posted, I get a lot of, like, you know, weird messages.
I do too.
They say, oh, you're a poser, a philosophical poser. No, I am not. I'm just telling you, use philosophy the right way. And when I was at the clubhouse, I mean, this was my whole thing. Don't use philosophy as rhetoric. Right. First of all, you're insulting the chiropractic philosophy by doing that. But secondly, you're blowing the clothes.
Right.
I'm telling you.
You're blowing the clothes, baby.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know we had this scheduled a couple times, but I get it. I'm the same way. But I also wanted to thank you for everything that you're doing for the profession, as far as getting these doctors to have more self-worth, and also helping them through the sales process of being a chiropractor, which they all are. But I also wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the #1 speaker on my program that has referred the most people to the program. So I want to give you and you guys always have a big party every year. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
So you know how to do it, man. It's good. It's good to get serious about business, but it's good, as B.J. Palmer said, not to use any rhetoric. Don't take yourself so damn seriously, to have a little bit of a party once in a while and hang out with the people that you love. So I love you, bro. You're going to play a little keyboards for us too this year too, right?
Oh, for sure. I'm already working on it.
All right. Well, we might change your song though. I don't want to throw that at you right now, but we'll talk about it later. I know you can handle
it. Got it, bro.
All right. Peace out.
Thanks.
Rock and roll.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you, bro.
Care.
$7 can get you a romance novel, a #1 combo at In-N-Out Burger, a 12-pack of granola bars, a cup of green juice, or 1 month of access to the CalJam network. At CalJam, we take pride in the array of topics our speakers have covered over the past 8 years. With the CalJam network membership, most of our speakers' talks can be accessed. In our network, you can also find numerous seminars from the Dead Chiropractic Society's monthly meeting with over 100 chiropractors and some of the best speakers in the profession. The CalJam network is your all-access pass to CalJam and DCS workshops, videos, and chiropractic content. From past CalJam speakers to recent DCS seminars, the network is a great resource for anybody passionate about chiropractic health or global sustainability. So don't miss out! We upload new and exciting content monthly, which can stream on any device, even your smartphone. Join the CalJam network today for only $7 a month at caljam.org/network.
I love
rock and roll! Not just one child. I said, you change it for the school.
Not your emotion, their emotion.
Well, because everybody has a self-healing mechanism. We know that.
your community is desperately waiting for you to show up.
Wake up out of your apathetic slumber. Tell the people all about the principles of chiropractic.
Is you are the vessel of the change.
Ability to move that keeps us alive.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me?